wonder what goes on in your body while you're sleeping? Today we are going to venture into the sleep cycle and begin to understand the process that our bodies undergo while being asleep. I took a philosophy class and briefly touched on the topic of the sleep cycle, and ever since then, I've been intrigued and wanted to learn more about the topic, so I did some research. Did you know we spend 1/3 of our life sleeping? Which, if we live to be 75 years old, we spent 25 of those years sleeping. We humans have a light sensor within the eye that is used to lock the body clock and the sleep-wake cycle onto the external world. Without it, we will simply drift out of cue. The adaptive advantage of having an internal clock is to anticipate and prepare for the very demands of activity and rest within the 24-hour day. Our internal body clock during sleep can anticipate that we need to be awake and active in time. Physiology can be cranked up in anticipation of wake. A sleep cycle lasts 90 minutes, and during that time we move through 5 stages of sleep. There's 5 stages of sleep cycle that occur in the human body while being asleep are known as stage 1 through 4 and REM sleep. Stages 1 and 2 are categorized as light sleep. Stage 3 and 4 are categorized as deep sleep. And REM sleep is known as the dreaming stage. Light sleep has 2 stages in the sleep cycle, stage 1 and stage 2. The first stage in the cycle is stage 1. The second stage is stage 2. Stage 1 is the stage between wakefulness and sleep. When you first lie down and begin to fall asleep, your body relaxes, and your eyes start to roll around, may open and close from time to time. You're still so close to being awake, but your brain begins to work slower. Breathing begins to regulate and your heart rate slows down. Have you ever had the feeling when you were sleeping of that sensation of falling off a cliff and suddenly waking up? That's because twitching and jerking of the muscle are common during stage 1, preceding the sensation of falling. The sleeper has the ability to hear sounds and conversations, but are unable to respond. This stage represents about only 5% of the total sleep cycle. In stage 2, conscious awareness of the world begins to fade away completely. If any sounds are heard and the sleeper is not able to understand their content at this point, our muscle activity decreases, eye movement stops completely, and brain waves become slower with only occasionally rapid brain waves. Stage 2 consists of 45 to 55% of the sleep cycle. If you were woken by something or by someone in stage 1, you would say that you were not even sleeping. But in stage 2, you are easily awake, but you would clearly know that you were sleeping. After being in light sleep in stages 1 and 2, you really relax and fall deeply asleep into stage 3 and 4. Deep sleep is categorized into 2 separate stages, stages 3 and 4. Stage 3 is the 3rd stage in the cycle, and stage 4 is the 4th stage. The sleeper is even less responsive to the outside world, essentially cutting them off from the environment and unaware of the sounds or other stimuli. In stage 3, children experience bedwetting, sleepwalking, sleep talking, or night terrors while in this stage. Muscle and eye movement stop entirely. Brain temperature, breathing rate, heart rate, and blood pressure are at their lowest levels. Stage 3 represents only 4 to 6% of the sleep cycle. Stage 4 is categorized being the same as stage 3 because of the similarities taking place. Stage 4 is the deepest sleep of the stage. During this period, the sleeper is even less responsive to the outside environment. There are no muscle and no eye movement, similar to stage 3. Stage 4 represents 12 to 15% of the sleep cycle. It is very difficult to wake someone up when they are in deep sleep. Being woken from stage 3 and 4, you would be very confused about what is happening and where you are. After stage 4, you slowly fall back to stage 3, then back to stage 2, this time known as REM sleep. The fifth and the last stage is REM sleep. REM sleep is known as where all the dreaming takes place. REM stands for a rapid eye movement because your eyes behind your closed eyelids slide quickly back and forth. When you enter the REM stage, you go from being relaxed to being ready for action, but still can't move. Our brain becomes more active, almost as active as if we were awake. Breathing becomes more rapid and irregular. Heart rate and blood pressure increases as well. Sexual arousal is common in REM sleep. REM is the stage where your dreams happen. REM uses the scanning hypothesis. Scanning hypothesis is the result of our brain trying to scan the events in the dream world. In other words, if one looks left and right during a dream, the sleeper's actual eyes will follow the dream gaze and move left and right under his or her eyelids. We lie perfectly still when we dream. Our brain cuts off all the messages that signals our body to move, making our muscles paralyzed instead of being relaxed. Have you ever woken up after a night's sleep and remember a weird dream that doesn't make sense at all? That's because you just woke up from REM sleep. If awoken during REM sleep, a person can actually remember the dreams, even if it doesn't make sense. As we can see, our body doesn't shut down when we sleep. Today we looked at the 5 stages of sleep cycle. We learned that stages 1 and stages 2 are light sleep, stages 3 and stages 4 are deep sleep, and REM sleep is where our body starts to dream. So now that we know what goes in our body while we're sleeping, isn't it fascinating that our body does this every night, over and over, multiple times?